Could there be something paranormal hidden on such a remote continent? What happened during Operation Highjump? Could Antarctica be the gateway to an ancient civilization? Today, we test the believability of the secrets of Antarctica.
Welcome to Believing the Bizarre,
Where we dive into the unknown and the unusual.
and tell you whether or not we find it believable.
That is right, and I am Tyler.
I'm Charlie.
And today we are talking about Antarctica. Ironically, as we're melting in the studio.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm glad I got some ice cubes over here.
It is so hot. I want to shout a couple people out. First of all, I want to shout Logan out. He's one of our followers. Awesome guy. Actually gave us some Teespring advice. A little slide in there talking about merch. We won't get too much into that. But before that, he actually suggested talking about Antarctica. And we did some research, and it really is a fun topic. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it.
There's a whole lot of depth to this, right?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot. There might be a couple of theories that we don't get to just because of our time frame on Believing the Bizarre. So it's going to be kind of like an overview, like a flying up in the air in a hot air balloon, looking down, seeing all the squares. Yeah, it's Antarctica 101. This is the intro prep class. I also want to shout out one of our followers, Caster, who reached out to us, gave us feedback, which is awesome. We always love getting feedback. And they were like, you guys should say your names at the beginning because you guys sound a little familiar, which Charlie and I had a conversation. We're like, do we sound?
I don't think we sound the same, but I guess if you hadn't heard us before, I could see it.
Yeah, we just sound like a couple 20-year-old white dudes. And
Yeah, 20-year-old white dudes. That's right.
For now, Charlie, what do you got, like 2 months left?
It's close.
So let's start with this, because maybe everything we talk about in this episode you just think is absolute bullshit, right? I mean, it's possible. So if that's the case, I want to give you just a couple fun, unique things about Antarctica, just to warm you up, right?
It's more than just like penguins, right?
Are there really penguins there?
Yeah, Antarctica.
Have you ever been there? You don't know.
I don't know.
You don't know if there's actually penguins there. Penguins aren't even real. That's what this whole episode's about. Okay, first thing. Massive mountain range. Even though Antarctica is covered in ice, it actually holds one of the world's biggest mountain ranges. I'm gonna butcher this because I'm always doing that. The Gamburtsev. That's how we're gonna put it. The Gamburtsev Mountains. It's more than 750 miles. It's only about like a third the height of like Mount Everest on its highest peaks, but it's it's wide. It's about the girth, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
2, there's hidden lakes. Lake Vostok is a freshwater lake buried under about 2.5 to 3 miles of frozen water. It's about the size of Lake Ontario. Apparently, there's a bunch of microscopic life in the water.
That's cool.
And polio.
Oh,
so
polio?
No, I'm lying.
Oh.
But have you heard that where they're talking about like diseases could be in places that are like, it's like one of the fears of global warming. Like when global warming happens. Yes.
Yeah, it's like 2012, that movie, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
When did that come out?
I think 2012.
Yeah. There's also volcanic activity. There are extinct volcanoes in Antarctica, but there's also 2 active ones.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, so you know what? So there's a couple fun things about Antarctica.
Do they blow up ever?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, they probably
like that
have.
Hawaiian, like slow lava.
I guess they're known for it has lava lakes, which is liquid magma. Even though the frigid conditions, they still have liquid magma.
Liquid hot magma. That's Austin Powers.
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's interesting. One interesting thing about Antarctica is just the fact that it's a barren wasteland, but there's so much potential. It's kind of like the ocean. Like, you get it. I mean, you get excited to go to the ocean, but it's just so vast and so uncharted that it's just a big mystery. Like, we don't know what all is there.
Would you go there?
I would go there just because it's a hot spot for seeing cool space stuff.
Yeah?
Like, it's known for its meteorites. Like, they say if you're interested in meteorites, that Antarctica is one of the hot places to go.
Well, there's no light pollution at all.
Right. Light pollution, also something about like the poles. And I can't speak on this
because they're magnets.
Intelligently, but because of being on the North or the South Pole, just seeing, it's just a clearer view of space or something. I don't know. I'm speaking about things I don't know. So let's move on to some of the conspiracy stuff. Have you heard of Operation Highjump?
No, what is that?
Okay, on the surface, Operation Highjump was a United States Navy operation organized by Admiral Richard E. Byrd. So for the remainder of this episode, we're just going to say Admiral Byrd, okay?
Can I say something really quick?
Yeah.
Operation Highjump sounds like General Byrd. General?
Like taking flight? Is that where
Sounds
you're
like
going?
General Byrd is commanding someone to kill themselves.
Operation Highjump.
Operation Highjump.
My birds are no longer going to stay in my nest. Get the f*** out and fly.
Go.
So Operation Highjump began on August 26, 1946, and it ended in late February 1947. So it was about 6 months. It's a task force that included 4,700 men, 13 ships, and 33 aircrafts. And it was under the guise, and I'm using the term guise here because obviously you know there's a conspiracy attached to this.
Oh, yeah.
So on the surface level, the idea was that Operation Highjump was to establish Antarctic research, this base called Little America 4, if I have my Roman numerals right. If it's a line and then a 5, that's 4, right?
Yeah.
It's like the line's like, we're not there yet, but we're getting there. And so they were going to use it for training, research, maintaining, and developing techniques for what it's like to have an air base on ice.
Little America? That's
Little
so
America.
Cute. Like a Little Italy in
like
New York.
Little Italy, yeah. It's like there was no more room for that. Little Italy, Little China. We put our Little America in Antarctica.
That's right.
It was made known when they came back that Admiral Byrd believed that the U.S. should adopt major measures of defense and protection against aerial attacks from polar regions. He kept stressing the importance of security for the United States and that Antarctica would eventually become the most important place in the world for science. So, they go there for training. They come back early. He's talking about security measures. So this leads people to believe that a little bit more happened during Operation Highjump than what meets the eye.
Klaxar anally raped him.
That's where you go, right from here to there. Like
absolutely, that's my 1 to 2. That's my A to B. You know, Gligsgar got up there and got his juices.
Got his juices.
Yeah,
it's disgusting. So here's something. I'm gonna tell this story like it's 100% believable. Okay,
let's go.
Well, you know how this works. At the end of the episode is when we start getting critical. So if I seem a little out of my mind, just roll with me here. I'm going to tell you this story and these theories as if they are fact. Admiral Byrd wrote about an encounter with an ancient civilization. And this is quotes. Until I say unquote, this is his words, not mine. There comes a time when the rationality of men must fade into insignificance and one must accept the inevitability of the truth. I am not at liberty to disclose the following documentation at this writing. Perhaps it shall never see the light of public scrutiny, but I must do duty and record here for all to read someday. In a world of greed and exploitation, mankind can no longer suppress that which is truth. Unquote. So what he's saying is that he found out something and he's not able to say. But he wants to write it down so that it eventually gets out.
What did he see in that ice?
So what a lot of people believe is that he met an ancient race underground in the South Pole. An ancient civilization, yeah. I mean, it could be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't say it's human. It's just an ancient civilization.
It's like lizard people.
So here's another quote. Quote, I have attended a staff meeting at the Pentagon. I've stated fully my discovery and the message from Master. All is duly recorded. The President has been advised. I am now detained for several hours. I am interviewed intently by top security forces and a medical team. It was an entire ordeal. I am placed under strict control via the national security provisions of the United States of America. I am ordered to remain silent in regard to all that I have learned on behalf of humanity. Incredible. I am reminded that I am a military man and I must obey orders. Unquote.
Whoa.
So one thing that jumps out to people from that quote is he received message from Master, the Master. Who is the Master? Apparently...
Ozzy Osbourne.
No. He wouldn't have understood anything he said. I'm imagining that the Master told him secrets and Ozzy would have just... Crazy train. Yeah, so apparently the master told him about hollow earth and how places such as Tibet, the Great Pyramid of Giza, and the North Pole all have tunnels that lead to Agartha, which is a famous underground city.
Famous. Isn't famous if you know about it? I've never heard of it.
Never heard of it?
Agartha?
It's kind of hidden, I think, behind Atlantis in terms of underground. Like Atlantis is kind of, everybody knows that. Nobody's talking about Agartha.
What about Lemuria?
What's that?
What? That's another thing.
All right, let's move off Hollow Earth for a second, and let's fast forward to 1991.
The way forward machine.
Yep, and now you're 1 year old, and I'm not alive yet.
What year is it?
91.
Oh, yeah, that's me.
What year did you think I said?
I wasn't sure.
Anyway, after the Soviet collapse in 1991, rumor had it that the KGB released classified files that explain that Soviet spies discovered that the U.S. Navy sent a military expedition, aka Operation Highjump, to seek and destroy a hidden Nazi base. Now, the reason this makes sense and lines up is due to the fact that in the late 1930s, Germany was reportedly invested in researching in Antarctica, which was about 10 years before Operation Highjump. So the rationale is, at that time we're battling Germany. They're thinking they're getting an advantage, so we're going to tell people we're going there for training.
Right.
But we're really going to go and try and snipe out this Nazi base that they're creating in Antarctica.
Right.
Because if you think about it, bringing 4,700 people to Antarctica seems a little bit more than just training,
it's
right?
a little excessive. It sounds like a battalion size.
However, according to this unreleased and then released KGB Soviet file, they encountered a fleet of UFOs that attacked the military expedition before they even found anything Nazi Germany related.
A fleet? A fleet? What? How many's in a fleet?
Many. Probably more than 4. The Soviets uncovered a radio man, John P. Shavach, his testimony.
Okay.
We'll call him Johnny P. Johnny P. said, and I quote, "I and my shipmates in the pilot house port side observed for several minutes the bright lights that ascended about 45 degrees into the sky very quickly. We couldn't ID the lights because our radar was limited to only 250 miles in a straight line." Unquote.
Port is left, right?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a boat person.
I don't either.
I've never even been on a big boat. I've been on like a jet ski boat.
So I went 45 degrees straight up.
I left my protractor at home, bro.
and they're gone.
And they're gone. Yeah.
It's crazy.
In a straight line. Now, according to the Soviet report, over the next couple of weeks, the UFOs flew closer and closer to the U.S. Navy, and they did what you would probably imagine any military do. They shot at them some bitches.
That sounds right for the American
And the UFOs
Navy.
Retaliated.
They got into a firefight with aliens?
Yes.
That's
so
sick.
According to Lieutenant John Saverson, a lot of Johns. When in doubt, John.
It was the late 40s. That makes a lot of sense.
Johnny P passed the mic to Johnny S, and he said, quote, "The thing shot vertically out of the water at tremendous velocity, as though pursued by the devil, and flew between the mast at such a high speed that the radio antenna oscillated back and forth in its turbulence. An aircraft that took off just a few minutes later was struck with an unknown type of ray from the object and almost instantly crashed into the sea near our vessel. Having personally witnessed this attack by the object that flew out of the sea, all I can say is it was frightening."
Whoa, that's awesome.
Unquote.
Oh, dude, I want to watch that movie.
What movie?
That movie. I would watch that movie.
They're like freaking out. You got like popcorn. You're like, dope.
It's so cool.
Keeping that in mind, could this be why Admiral Byrd was so focused on 1, security, and 2, keeping America safe from aerial attacks from the poles?
I think that's a big part of it, yeah.
It could be. Maybe. So we're leaving Admiral Byrd now, and we'll end with his end. He died. You insensitive bastard. He died in his sleep of heart complications at the age of 68 a long-ass time ago in 1957.
Oh,
My father was one. We got Nazis, we have Hollow Earth, and we have UFOs, right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
So let's talk about the Nazis just for a second. Just for a little second. So as we mentioned, there was a theory that the Nazis had a secret base in Antarctica, and they went there in the 30s, which is why, the real reason Operation Highjump even existed. While they were there, the Nazis supposedly discovered several underground caves and rivers, and later converted the largest cave they found into a secret city where they lived with ... Do you have a guess?
Sasquatch?
The ancient civilization in Hollow Earth.
Oh, that makes sense.
Some people even think that that's where Hitler fled after,
After he shot himself.
After he shot himself. They transported his body there, and they were like, you guys can save him, right? And the ancient civilization were like, nah, he was a douche. So what if the Nazis somehow managed to lay their hands on alien technology at this secret base? Before Byrd even ran into the UFOs, what if there were no UFOs? What if it was always the Nazis the entire time? Just the Nazis with incredible weapons and technology.
Just a guess. I feel like World War II would not be over.
That's
just my guess.
They're like, but the Treaty of Versailles. There's only so much we can do, man. It's a treaty. I agree. So let's move off that for now, and let's go to the more interesting stuff, UFOs.
Yes, always.
Okay, so let's keep with the underground tunnels. There's 2 craters along the coast of Antarctica, and they both go very, very deep below the permafrost, as if something dug through it, like not just naturally occurring, something pushing its way in there. And some people theorize that these craters are entrances to either a secret government facility, an alien base, or, like we mentioned earlier, the Nazi base. But the idea is that these craters that you see are the entrances. That's how you get there. There is a UFO conspiracy theorist named Scott Waring, and he believes that they were formed, these craters, by UFOs. And he claimed that while scoping out Google Earth, you'll catch on as we continue this episode, a lot of people spend a lot of time on Google Earth trying to find things, which I imagine is kind of fun. I mean, it's like hunting from the comfort of your own home.
Yeah, the laziest way you could do it.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much the safest way, I guess you could do it. Like, I could recommend that. I wouldn't recommend you going to Antarctica by yourself, but I could recommend you searching.
Do it. Go to Antarctica. Send us pictures. Let's see what happens.
That was Charlie's suggestion. So he claims, Scott Waring, that he spotted a UFO in an image on Google Earth in Antarctica, but when he went back to find it, he said it was gone. So Google went through and edited it out.
Did he screenshot it the first time?
Of course not. And if he did, it would have been as blurry as Bigfoot.
Yeah,
you know
so
how it
stupid.
goes. I screenshotted it with my potato camera. It's got 2 pixels. That's it. Okay, so now let's go into Google Earth, because that's coming into play here. People like to search on Google Earth. So let's talk about a couple things that people found. Now, one thing is the Antarctic mountain face. So there is a strange formation that is found in Antarctica, and some people claim that it's just a peak of a mountain, but others claim that it is either alien or it is like some type of remnant of the ancient civilization, because it literally looks like eyes, a nose, a mouth, and a full head. I'll show you right now. I just showed Charlie. We will post this online, so if you're listening to this and you're like, what the hell are they talking about? Go to our social media, go to our Instagram, and you'll see the picture we're talking about. But it looks like an alien face, right?
It does kind of look like a face.
Right. I mean, you can easily see the eyes, the nose, and the mouth.
I begrudgingly give to you, it looks like a face.
I appreciate it. I'm sorry that it's so difficult to give me a W here. All right, another one. A UFO crash site. If you look at this image, it appears that something crash landed and skidded across the snow and then kind of just shot off. So it's like a long trail, like almost like tracks, like if somebody was on a very, 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 very large, like a 4-wheeler or something, and then it just kind of shot off. So I will show you that now. And again, if you guys want to see the pictures of this UFO crash site, check our social media. Okay, the last UFO instance that we have you heard of the Neumeyer station? I didn't give you a chance to answer.
No, I don't know it. It's fine.
I just assumed you didn't. So it's a research station in Antarctica. And in 2012, there were claims that there was a video that showed a UFO flying over this Neumeyer station in Antarctica.
That is so cool.
I can't tell if you're...
I love UFOs. That's awesome.
I know. It's kind of an amazing thing. So here's my last little bit of the story. I'm going to try and wrap this up like a bow, right?
Yeah.
I just threw a lot of stuff at you guys.
UFO fleet.
UFO fleet. Is that, you're still tripping up about that?
Yeah, I love that.
Okay. So let me plate it, right? Like you got the protein, you got the veggies, you got the carbs, but you got to plate it. Where you put like that little bit of random sauce on the plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know why that little bit of sauce is there. It's just there. So let me plate it and let me combine everything. So this is how it went down. You ever watch Clue where they're like, this is how it really happened?
Yeah, for sure.
This is that. So this is how it went down. The U.S. Navy and Admiral Byrd were sent to Antarctica under the guise of a training base and research with the intention of actually seeking and destroying an existing Nazi base. But on the way, they ran into a fleet of UFOs, which were guarding and or protecting these, quote, craters, aka the entrance to Hollow Earth, which is inhabited by this ancient civilization who Admiral Byrd had an encounter with. He met the master, and Admiral Byrd ended the Operation Highjump early, came back, and was told very politely to shut the f*** up about what he witnessed.
Get in the cell. Shut up. Don't talk to anybody.
Hey, give me your phone. This is the 40s. I don't care.
Those pictures, please.
Give me that flip phone. So that is, I just put everything together. I stuck that landing, right? 10 out of 10?
For sure.
So let's talk about some of this. So Nazi hidden base. I don't necessarily believe this to be true. I don't think they have the technology or the weapons or the manpower to go out there and actually construct this major base. And I think you made a really good point that if this was the case, I don't think that World War II would have ended the way it did.
No, the Nazis were getting their ass kicked by two sides.
Right, and I don't think, and unless it's like part of a longer plan, like if we're still in the planning phases of what they're planning to do, because in the grand scheme of things, like 100 years isn't a lot in terms of the world. So maybe it hasn't happened yet.
So he was like long gaming it.
Right.
Long.
Right. So craters. Remember how I was saying craters are considered to be entrances to this underground world?
Yeah.
So these craters, like some were found in 2006, scientists actually believe that these craters were formed by asteroids that hit the Earth millions of years ago and actually could be part of the asteroid that hit and caused the dinosaurs to go extinct.
It's not cool, but
it's
that's
interesting.
Cool. Yeah.
Now, it's interesting because I think dinosaurs are cool and I think space is cool and everything. But when they say, let me put it this way, for the longest time in my life, I thought, how there's that huge asteroid crater in like Arizona? Yeah. I was just there. So I thought that was the one that killed dinosaurs when I was younger. It wasn't, clearly. Do we know factually where that asteroid hit?
I actually thought it was Mexico.
Really?
I'm pretty confident it was Mexico.
Well, it wouldn't be where Mexico is anymore, right? Because of everything shifting?
No, yeah, everything moved.
Okay, so maybe it was like a break off of that landed in Antarctica, or maybe it was more than one. Maybe it was like a fleet of asteroids that hit Earth, but they claim that could be it.
Sure.
So what they're saying is it's not a underground tunnel to Hollow Earth. I said a UFO flew over the Neumeyer station. Turned out to be a weather balloon. Apparently they do a lot of weather balloons in there.
That is awkward.
Area. I know. It's kind of embarrassing, right? For them to assume that it would be.
Well, who reported as UFO? Well, actually, okay. I'll tell you this. It technically was a UFO when they reported it. It was unidentified.
That's true. So they're not wrong. So when people are calling them crazy, like, I didn't say it was alien.
Yeah.
And you even made clarification that in our very first episode, which you should go check out right after this. That, just because it's a UFO doesn't mean it's alien, but it's alien.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we're not technically wrong.
And finally, the journal entries in the report that was uncovered by the KGB.
Yeah.
I didn't write them all down, but there were a lot of discrepancies because there were way more quotes than the ones that I included in this episode. And they got names wrong. They got ship names wrong. Ships that weren't even in existence at that time period they were claiming to see and be involved. So for people that want to go dive into that, I highly recommend you do because it's very, very interesting, but you have to take it with a grain of salt because there are many discrepancies. So that still leaves a lot to discuss. There's a lot unknown, but I wanted to tell the story very engaged and believable to make it fun and exciting. But at the same time, I also want to call the things out that I already know don't quite add up.
So there was a General Byrd.
Oh,
Admiral
yeah,
Byrd.
Absolutely. He's real. Operation Highjump is real.
Did he swear on his life?
What?
Well, did he just, he was detained and then what happened? He just lived the rest of his life?
Well, the whole journal thing is kind of up in the air. Like, unless you physically have the journal in front of you, or if you got it from him, how do you know one it's real or one it was by him? That's all hearsay stuff. He's real. That operation's real. He came back. He went to Antarctica actually multiple times. They even claim that he discovered one of the volcanoes there. So he knew it well. Like that's well researched. It's the Nazi stuff. It is the UFO stuff. That's the conspiracy. The fact that he took people there for training and research, that's factual. And they claim that it ended early because of worsening weather conditions. Worse than cold as hell. Worse than that.
Is there any part of this where you think maybe it could have been?
And that's the issue with this topic, is there's so many different things. I really don't want to get into Hollow Earth too much, and I don't see the Nazi thing. I don't believe. I don't think.
No, I don't either.
I don't think the Nazis have a secret base there, so I'm going to count that out. I believe that the United States thought they might. Like, I believe we went there undercover to seek them out. Like, I have no problem believing that. Now, a true thing, 100% true thing, is he did stress security, and he did say that we need protection from aerial
Really? He really did?
attacks. Yeah, that's true. That is 100% true. So there is still the question of, when he went there, what experience caused him to believe that?
I still kind of think he got his prostate milked.
Milked? Oh my
alien.
God.
Yeah.
Can you milk a prostate?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Oh my God. I think... It is crazy to be like, this seems the most factual. I buy the UFO thing the most. I really do.
The fleet of UFOs?
The fleet. All 4 of them. Shooting out of the water.
Ooh, I don't think I buy any of this stuff.
No, you don't think so?
No. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of proof for any of this stuff.
Now, I think the Hollow Earth has weight on a different episode, potentially. Like, I think that's something we can tackle another time.
For sure.
And I don't want to give too much to that here. Don't buy the Nazi base.
No.
But the UFOs, listen. It ended early. He's stressing about security. It'll be one of the most important places in the world for scientists and research. If you do give a little leniency in that he's not allowed to say what he saw, and all these people finding Google Earth images and ideas about UFOs in Antarctica, I'm willing to tie those together into at least a viable. Think about it. If you even entertain the idea that there could be UFOs on Earth, a lot of people think it's like southwestern, like New Mexico and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And Arizona and
Yeah,
Area 51. I feel like if they are a higher intelligence, Antarctica seems like an amazing place to kind of house themselves, stay away from people, and whatever aliens want to do, whether it's housing, whether it's a base, whether it's plotting. Whatever aliens want to do, it seems like Antarctica is the perfect place for it.
I understand what you're saying. I don't think I necessarily agree with it.
That's fair. Where do you land?
For the whole episode?
Yeah, for the secrets of Antarctica.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. You think Antarctica is just a bigger Alaska?
Yeah.
Just
I think
big and boring.
It's just a hunk of rock.
But you believe that they have penguins.
I do believe in penguins.
Very gullible.
I've seen penguins at the zoo.
Yeah, at the zoo, not in Antarctica.
That's true.
Is that where the Northern Lights are? Aurora Borealis. Is that
There's
in Antarctica?
both.
Penguins and the Aurora Borealis? What, Antarctica just gets everything?
Pause. Did you just ask me if the Northern Lights were in Antarctica?
Well, they could also be in Alaska.
It's both.
Good. Is that what you meant?
No, Antarctica is in the south.
I give it a viable.
A viable?
I give it a viable in terms of UFOs. I don't buy the Nazis. I'm not giving too much weight to the Hollow Earth underground tunnels, Agartha, right now. But them seeing UFOs, people finding trails of UFOs and little hints about them on Google Earth, viable.
Agartha. Yeah, I give the secrets of Antarctica an unbelievable.
Ouch. So thank you again, Logan, for suggesting the idea. It was really fun to cover, and man, there's so much content out there about Antarctica.
Yeah, it's a great story.
Yeah. And that's all it is to you, just a story.
That's
just
right.
a fictional story.
Listen, I believe in a lot of shit.
That's true. I can't knock you for that. So again, we just want to say thank you guys for all the engagement, the comments, the follows, the Instagram shares.
The fan art?
The fan art, yeah. That's still, there's a lot of this. We stand by our content. We put the work in. We put the research in. We try and give you guys the best content and product possible. But that doesn't mean our minds aren't continually blown when you guys reach out and tell us you enjoy it.
It is insane. We have conversations all the time. Like, can you believe this?
Yes. And let me just state this again. When you are talking to Believing the Bizarre account on social media, you are absolutely talking to Charlie and I. Like, there's no one else. You think we have a budget for that? Absolutely not. You think we have friends that want to spend their time talking?
I don't have many friends.
So if you are enjoying the content, please spread it with a friend. If you like this content, if you like paranormal stuff, I guarantee you know somebody else that digs this type of content.
If you are enjoying it, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
Does Spotify even do reviews?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know either. I listen on Apple, but you all proved us way wrong and proved that Spotify is apparently the way to go.
So thank you again, and join us on our next episode of Believing the Bizarre.